Hi, I'm Janice.
And I'm Melinda.
And welcome back to NFP Kitchen. It's almost Valentine's Day, and we're very excited about that.
Very excited.
Yep. And both of us have wanted to do more baking on this channel because we both love baking. So we thought making a cherry pie for Valentine's Day would be perfect. We've got this wonderful heart-shaped pie dish that we're gonna make cherry pie in. It's Melinda's recipe. We're going to make the crust the way that she makes the crust, so I'm going to let her take the lead on most of this video.
Well, this is an easy one. It's great for vegans because it does not involve butter. Yay. However, I know it does involve Crisco, and according to Red Grandma, Crisco is okay.
Mm-hmm.
I find that this is the easiest for anyone who's not comfortable with pie crust. It's the most forgiving crust.
Okay.
It's a little more pliable, so you can make a few mistakes and you can kind of patch them up. To get started, I don't know if you can see that, 2 1/4 cups all-purpose flour, right in a big bowl. I also have a generous 1/3 cup of Crisco that I've kind of cubed, if you can see that. I like to cube it because it incorporates better, smaller pieces. It gets messy when you mix your hands. I also have a 1/4 cup of sugar. Now, I know not everyone can do sugar. I would also use erythritol. You can get that. It's a keto sugar that I would totally put. This is what we call a cookie crust, and that's why it involves the sugar. In addition to my flour, Crisco, and sugar, I have a bowl of cold water. It's really important to have cold water. I forget why. I just know, usually a pie crust, when I do butter, it's cold butter.
Mm-hmm.
So you want the coldness.
Yeah. I've heard that too, and I can't remember why.
One last ingredient, and this is something I like to do. I have this little tiny bottle of almond extract. Not that focused or anything like that. We just do the tiniest eighth of a teaspoon. I just like the way it smells. Yes, that happens with your Fitbit. So I just like that it echoes the cherry flavor in the pie, and I just think it gives it a little extra something.
Okay.
So I'm gonna first start by adding my sugar to my flour, and just kind of gently incorporate that. Get those incorporated. Next, I'm going to take my Crisco that I've cubed and kind of start dropping it in there. Getting messy. Okay. And then we're going to start doing tablespoons of water.
Okay.
So I'm taking my pastry cutter, and as Janice starts adding in water, so do 2 tablespoons to start.
Okay.
I'm going to start cutting this pastry and getting it to stick together. And as we go through, you'll start to see it form a little bit, and you add a little bit more water until you can pick it up with your hands, and then you very gently kind of pat it together. We don't want to overmix our pie crust because it'll make it tough.
Okay.
All right, let's keep adding another tablespoon of water and hold the second, or that'd be the 4th one. We just want to get it wet enough to make sense.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, and then 1 more tablespoon of water. All right, and then I'm going to start putting it together.
You want to show them what it looks like really quick?
Yeah, although I'm starting to
We've started to put it together a little bit, but it still looks really crumbly.
You know, come to think of it,
Huh.
might have put in too much flour. Is it only 1 1/4 cup? That can't be right. We need more,
More water? Okay. It does look pretty dry right now.
Go ahead and add more.
Okay.
Okay, it's feeling better
feeling more
now.
normal? Okay. Yeah, it's looking better.
Yeah.
Still very flaky. You want some more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to get it into like a uniform ball.
Yeah. It still looks a little dry to me.
one more. Yeah, I think. Yeah. All right. So we got a nice ball coming together here. This is what
better.
we want to end up with.
Okay.
I think I might have doubled the flour, so doubling the water made sense. Maybe it's 8 to 10 tablespoons. Yeah.
We haven't added any lemon juice or.
Whoops. Not the end of the world, we're just making this up as we go.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean.
Okay, so now we're going to kind of form this into a disc. And then we're going to look up the recipe and try the next one, because I think my memory's
Okay, sounds good.
But this is good. If this doesn't work out, we'll just use it as the topping part.
Oh, okay.
Because we're making 2 crusts.
Yes.
So we'll look up the other recipe. And we'll see if I'm cuckoo bananas. And then we'll use this. That's the thing about pie crust. If it turns out ugly, you can always fix it. So we just want to put this on a plate and refrigerate it for a little bit. Perfect.
Okay. So we have how much flour?
1 1/4 cups flour.
Yes, to make this crust recipe.
Yes, not 2 1/4 cups. That's a mistake. All right, so we have our flour. We're going to add our generous 1/3 cup of Crisco. I cubed it because it incorporates better. Get in there. All right, and then we are going to add the littlest bit of almond extract because we are putting this in the pie. And it smells good and it tastes good, but we're being very exact with this because it's not okay to overdo it on this. You're gonna have a bitter, nasty, that's about as much as you want to do. You just want the smell of almond on the crust.
Oh, wow,
It smells like cherries.
Oh, it
me.
does.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I love it.
That's cool.
And then we're just gonna do a tiny little shot of lemon. Boop.
Okay.
No, we're not going crazy on that. Okay, so now I'm going to take my pastry cutter and I'm going to start breaking down the Crisco. And as I'm doing that, Janice is going to add up to 5 tablespoons of water. You have to watch it. So she's going to add 1 or 2 just to get me started.
Add 2 to start.
And then I'm going to start mixing that together.
Yeah, because that first round looked like a lot of flour. I'm not going to lie. I was going, wow, you use a lot more flour than I do.
I was just stuck in, I was thinking of a double pastry.
Okay.
Because a double pastry would be 2 1/4, and then we should add more Crisco. See, this is forming a lot better.
Yes, it is, for sure.
Keep hitting me with a little more water. So, tablespoon or 2.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Add 4.
And remember to use cold water.
Ice water is important because it helps to keep the fat cold so it doesn't melt. And this helps with the flakiness of the crust.
Ah, that's why you want cold. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So now we're getting to the point where we can add a little more water.
Okay.
Okay. And this is going to be, this is coming together a lot.
Yeah, this looks much better.
This is going to be much more forgiving. This crust is a little more wet. The great thing is you want your crust to start out a little more wet, and then when you roll it out on the flour, on your pastry board, then it makes it so you don't put too much flour into your pie, because if you put too much flour into your pie crust, it's going to get dry and it's going to break. And I'm just making a ball of it. My grandma would take the extra pie crust that she didn't use, that she cut off the pie, and then she'd put cinnamon and sugar on it, and she'd bake it in the oven.
Ooh.
And made like little pie tartlets.
Ooh.
But I just pretty much sit at the counter and just eat whatever she put down.
Oh.
All right, so we have a very nice little dough ball right here. That's perfect. All right, same procedure. We're going to stick this guy in the fridge for just a little bit. Yeah, this is definitely going to be nicer. If at first you do not succeed, try again. Okay. We have laid out our very fancy pastry sheet of parchment paper.
Yes.
You can use your countertop. You can use parchment paper. I like a pastry cloth. Just make sure to put enough flour down. So this is where I'm happy that we added less flour in the beginning, because we're gonna roll it out and we'll slowly incorporate a little more flour. So it's gonna get to that perfect ratio instead of being too dry.
Okay.
So we don't want too much flour. So we're gonna generously flour our parchment paper. And then we're gonna keep some flour on hand because we need to flour the rolling pin. So we're gonna roll it out and we're gonna use it to cut hearts out for our lattice instead of making the traditional lines because we're fancy. So we're gonna bring that out and hope and pray for the best. All right.
That's okay.
Oh, gosh. So now we are going to cut out our happy little hearts.
Happy little hearts.
And then we'll set those aside for when we have the filling done and poured into the pastry. Yay!
Oh, that looks good.
Happy little heart. We're just gonna cut out a bunch of hearts, so go for it.
Okay, cool.
I like doing this because it's easier than lattice. I know cherry pie technically has a lattice, but it's Valentine's Day, so
Yes.
hearts are necessary, okay?
And that's what I did on my pie too, by the way. That I made for my now fiance. Put hearts on it.
Well, then this
Although
will be
it was
great.
a big stamp.
Oh, it's a stamp. not
Yeah,
like
and then
this
you
is-
cut it out of the top crust all at once. And then just had to center it was the tricky part
Ah.
on the pie.
So yeah, we'll have plenty of hearts. Don't worry.
Okay.
We might even be able to make some tarts.
Oh, good.
Like I just cut it into random shapes. It looks like Montana.
Looks like Montana. Okay.
I don't know why it always
Montana?
does. No, they always look like Montana.
Okay. Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. So we'll have lots of hearts, and we'll make a. Although we're not working with a circle, but it's gonna be hearts everywhere. We took our second pie crust out of the fridge, and we are now shaping it to the pan. I rolled it out. It is very soft. Incorporated a little more flour. And now we're taking the edge pieces of the last pie crust and kind of filling in some gaps. Sometimes it's hard to negotiate the size of your pie crust, especially in an irregularly shaped pan. Like I'm used to a round,
Yeah.
and we're using a heart. So you have to put things in differently. Sometimes things crack a little bit. This is literally like edible cement.
Yeah.
And we're just forming it to the edge because I'm gonna take a fork and I'm gonna score it and keep it. That's how we keep it down.
Okay.
At
Yep.
least that's how Grandma taught me how to keep it down. And crusts don't have to be beautiful. They're gonna be covered by filling.
Right. You
Yeah.
don't see this part.
We are not pastry chefs. We are but lowly.
Plebeians. Is that what you were about to say?
We are but lowly. We are worms.
We're having too much fun, man.
And that's what it should be about. It
Yes.
should be about being perfect. Because if you bake and cook like that, you're not gonna have any fun. Regular fork. And then I just squish,
Mhm.
squish.
Oh, okay.
And it anchors the pie really nicely.
Got it.
And we'll show you in just a minute what
Mhm.
it looks like. So I get it all. Ta-da!
Yay.
We have filled. We have filled. All right. So now we're just gonna set this aside for a while, and we're gonna preheat our oven to
375.
poke your pie. It prevents air bubbles.
The bubbles.
It's gonna go in a bumper sticker. Okay, the pie crust is ready, and we're gonna set it aside, and we're gonna get the cherry filling going. It is time for filling.
It is time for filling.
So we are now taking the cherries that we have let sit for about an hour. They came out of the freezer. They need some time to kind of come up to room temp. So we're putting them over heat now so they can cook down a little bit. And this recipe calls for, I think, 4 cups of fruit.
Yes.
All right, so I think this is 3 and 4. It's gonna be a little generous. I like a lot of cherries in my pie.
And this pie plate is pretty deep, so that should work.
Oh, the cherries. All right, they are in. All right, and cover, actually.
So I've got a cup of sugar here for the filling. And we're going to be adding 4 tablespoons of cornstarch.
So we're just gonna let those sit a little bit longer.
Okay.
We are following a recipe from Food Network. Oh, recipe courtesy of Peter Sturck.
Peter Sturck. Okay.
I don't know Peter Sturck.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, I think this has lost considerable liquid.
Okay.
I'm removing this from heat.
We took our cherries, just cherries off the heat. And, yep, and we're going to add the sugar and the cornstarch to our cherries and cherry juice.
Okay, now we're gonna put in an 1/8 teaspoon of almond extract.
Okay. Sorry, this is a quarter.
That's okay. Sometimes I don't know if you can taste an 1/8. A quarter is a safe amount because it's enough to flavor, but not enough to cause bitterness.
Okay. We're adding lemons.
And we're just adding a little shot of lemon juice to wake things up. That's all.
Okay, great.
And then we're just gonna stir until it starts getting thick and bubbly. Yeah, we see it's kind of turned into a bit of a syrup. It's thick and it's bubbly.
It's dark and it's kind of hard to see, but
Yeah, that's what we get for black cherries. We're gonna have to let this cool for a little bit. So we've achieved thick and bubbly.
okay.
Now I'm gonna pull it off the heat before it burns. Stir it a little longer. I'm gonna turn off our heat.
So let it cool, put it in the pie crust, put the pie crust in the oven?
Yeah, and then we'll bake for 50 minutes.
Okay. And we've got the oven set to 375 degrees. So now our cherry mixture has cooled.
All right, we are going to carefully pour our cooled mixture into our pie dish. And it got nice and thick, and it was just the juice of the cherries and cornstarch and 1 cup of sugar, a little bit of almond extract, and a shot of lemon just to brighten things up. I always see people adding lemon to fruit pies.
Yes.
It's just a common thing.
Yeah. Well, and that's
look at that.
my mom always did that too.
Beautiful. We nailed the volume on this one.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. We got a lot of cherry goodness to be put in there.
Excellent. Oh, that looks beautiful. I'm so glad we finally got around to making this.
Yay!
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for a while.
We have.
Okay, so that's done. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these cute little hearts that we cut out, and we're just gonna layer them around the pie until they kind of create the covering of it.
Okay.
And you have to be really careful because once you put it down, it's gonna have red.
Yeah.
Just and just circle, and then we'll do the inner circle.
Okay, got it.
Or the inner heart. And then we're gonna kind of.
Oh, that's right. I'm making it worse.
No, it's fine. Okay. And then we're gonna kind of layer the next level, kind of like that.
Oh, I see.
And then just one right in the middle.
Yay!
Okay.
Okay, so this is what it looks like now that it's done. Beautiful.
And we're gonna go in the oven for 50 minutes. That is 50. We're gonna create a pie crust shield because we don't want our crust to burn after 50 minutes of baking.
You can buy these in the store as well, but this again is an irregular shaped pie today. So you would probably want to do this anyway.
And we're just gonna kind of make it work. This is not working.
Yeah.
Plan B. Plan B. Always have one. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I'm so scared.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Are we good?
We're good.
Okay.
So we're just tempting it so it doesn't burn. All right. 50 minutes.
Okay, so our pie has come out of the oven and it's been cooling for a couple hours now.
Sure,
Maybe.
we'll go with that.
Yeah, maybe an hour.
Maybe an hour, yeah.
Yeah,
probably
it's
closer.
probably been cooling for maybe an hour. This is what it looks like.
That's very super cute.
It's very cute.
Ta-da!
I love it so much.
Do that too much again.
Okay, so now we're gonna cut into it. So we've cut into our pie. It's a little bit early, but just so we can do this tonight, we've cut into it. It smells wonderful. It smells like cookies.
Yes.
And that's what it looks like.
It looks like a murder scene.
Delightfully gory.
Oh, and coconut whipping cream. We decided it was better than almond.
Yep. Although they didn't have almond at Safeway. For a cherry pie, it's pretty good. Cherry pies aren't my favorite. But really not too bad.
What do you think about the sweetness level?
The crust is very sweet. The filling, I feel like, could be a little sweeter. Yeah.
That's what I was worried about. But
Sorry about that. That was my...
okay. We had to test it out, so we know that cherry pie, you don't want to cut too much sugar.
Yeah.
Or you
Not
want to
in the
replace
filling,
it.
at least.
Yeah. You want to replace it with erythritol or another sugar substitute.
Because the crust tastes way sweeter than the filling.
Yeah. And these are tart cherries. Yeah, the crust turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
So you like Crisco crust?
I do, I'm afraid.
Again, not an everyday food.
No. Anyway, so that's our cherry pie video. Thank you for watching. And we will see you next time. Bye. Yeah, just 50 more times. Sorry. I wish the camera was pointing at your face right now. 50. Perfect. And start. This is quite the adventure.
This is quite the mess.